Bright moments and joy, everybody. Bright moments and joy I wish upon your life. I'm coming to you again today, still with a heavy heart that aches, and not in a good place, not in a very good place. Just wanted to speak on a couple things and make some clarifications on what I said the other day, just so folks have an understanding. And then I also want to address some of those otherwise moral white people who haven't spoken up, and some who think they can relate and say and do things in certain ways that are offensive and disrespectful. First, my clarification. The other day, I told a story about myself being arrested when I was profiled and taken to jail by a cop when I was with my friend Estevan Morales. And I described what the police had put in their report as the description of the criminals, and I left out that description. The description of those two people, who were suspects, I should say, was of two Hispanic males that were 5'3", 5'4". One had on a red jacket with a big E on the back and some jeans. The other one had on another jacket and some jeans. I'm not sure I remember the color of it. And if you remember in that particular post that I made, I noted that I had on a red tank top and some shorts. Estevan had on button-up shirt, tank top, shirts open, and some shorts. So clearly, if you know me, you know that I am not Hispanic. And Estevan, I don't really know his origins, but I believe he may be a mixture of black and perhaps Filipino. But any questions for him, he can clear up. If he sees this video, he can definitely comment and let me know if I'm incorrect. He was my roommate for about 2.5, 3 years. So shout out to Esteban. So that was the clarification there. If I left that part out, and you can see me having to go to jail because of description of two Hispanic males with jackets and jeans on that did not fit our description, that was much shorter, caused that police officer to profile us unjustly and take me to jail. So I wanted to clear that up. Part of the reason why I'm doing this today is because I read a post from a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a number of years named Rapone, who talked about how his heart aches, and it's ached every day. Being a black man in this country, being educated and having a good job and being a good citizen and being a good brother, and all these different things. And his heart is aching, as mine is as well. And for me, the ache comes quite similarly to Rapone's, because no matter what I do, as a black man, I'm considered a threat. I have a job where I work for, and I actually do technical support. And when I'm on the phone and I know my job and do my job very well, you can tell, and sometimes it's even been stated, that people recognize that I'm a black man just on the phone. And their ability to be respectful, even though they're calling for help and I can give it to them, their respect goes right out the window. Right out the window. I do speak very matter-of-factly, very directly, but I'm also objective, and I'm extremely compassionate to everyone's individual situation. So to have this happen and to figure out how to be nice to white people on the phone, it's stressing. It's very stressing. I took 7 months off my job because it's stressful. Just because people want to use their privilege to talk to me as if they're a victim of something that I did not do. And it's a thing I have to carry no matter where I am and no matter who I talk to, that is not a person of color. And there are other scenarios where that comes into play, but for the most part, it happens when I'm talking to someone who is not a person of color, meaning white. And that's a heavy burden to carry every day. to figure out how to navigate through this world and not offend or feel threatening or, come off as if I'm going to pose a threat when I have no intention of doing that. I will defend myself and my family and my friends to no end. But I will not incite or cause anything to happen in any particular scenario. It's just my way. I don't like to make trouble, but I will fucking finish it. It's just the type of person I am. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on is, it got me to thinking about this. This is way before these protests started to happen. Is I would notice some of the people who call themselves my friend on my post, they would post things that would describe a particular feeling or humorous sentiment using the word nigga. And I want to address that real quick. If you're not in my face, and let me rephrase that. If you are in my face and you want to tell that same similar story and you know that you can't use that word, then don't use that word in a post that I will see. Now you can do whatever fuck you want as an adult, right? But unfriend me, because I don't want to see that shit. It's going to change the way I feel about you. Period. I don't give a fuck who you are, man, woman. If you white, do not fucking use that word on my post, whether it's somebody else that says it in their post, whether you're singing a rap lyric, I don't give a fuck. If you won't say that shit standing in my face, which you will get the shit slapped out of you for, do not post that shit on my fucking account. And if you don't like that, then fucking unfriend me. And when you see me, keep it moving. Period. Again, I'm not going to have to start shit. You know how I feel? Just leave me the fuck alone and I'll do the same. With that being said, and almost in that same vein, Martin Luther King, and I'm paraphrasing, touched on something where he said it's even more of an injustice that moral white people aren't speaking up, right? And aren't doing something. There are people who know things are going on and not saying anything because it doesn't affect them. They're white. They're good. We see some white people who do defend. We see them making a barrier in front of black people so they can protest. Kudos and bravo to those people. We see them stopping other people from breaking windows that aren't black in the name of what's happening with the protest and the Black Lives Matters movement. And bravo to them. But you people who are friends of black people, family members of black people, acquaintances, co-workers, whatever the case may be, you have people of color in your life and you're not speaking up, you're part of the problem. Seriously. For years, I've been hearing we need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation. Fuck that. Fuck a conversation. This has always been my position. Fuck a conversation. It never does any good. Never. Somebody expresses one thing, somebody expresses another thing, we go home, go to sleep, it's done. Fuck a conversation. There needs to be action from both black people, white people, and all people as an American. And I'm not an African American. I'm an American of African descent, but I'm an American. I was born here. Africans don't look at us as Africans because we weren't born in Africa. We are Americans. We are the only race or culture in this country that is described as something different before we are described as Americans. No Irish Americans have to check a box that says Irish American. No Polish Americans have to check a box that says Polish American. Nobody that's white has to check a box that says whatever origin American. They're either white or they're American. I'm American. Period. So if you're looking for the politically correct term or just the correct term, call me an American. That's it. I'm an American. White people, if you're not able to understand the feeling of angst that black people have, I'm going to give you a little bit of history. I'm going to break it down for you. Over 25 million people were taken from Africa. 25 million were taken from Africa. They were brought to South America. They were brought to Cuba. They were brought to the South, as we know, and to the East Coast. 25 million. That is without question the largest kidnapping, colonization, and genocidal act that has ever been done to any other culture, period. Now, there was a different genocide that happened, and the numbers were extremely close. And it was done by Stalin in Russia. Because of people not agreeing with his views during a communistic period, almost 20 million people were killed and fled from Russia. And a portion of that 25 million people actually migrated to somewhere we now know as Israel. And they occupied and took a land of other brown people who are now known as Palestinians, who are already there. And they took their land. They colonized it. And now they oppress them and keep them from it. After that period of time, we had the unfortunate circumstances of what happened to Jewish people during World War II and Hitler, with over 2 million people. But the numbers, the sheer numbers of what happened and the way that it happened to black people far outweigh the implications of what happened to those Russian people who were Jewish and those Jewish people during the Holocaust. The commonality of those Jewish people is they knew what relative was killed. They knew how to retrace their lineage. They knew their culture and their religion. It remained intact. Their languages remained intact. Their family structure remained intact, even though some of their family members were murdered and killed. Black people, when we were ripped from the shores of Africa, we were brung here and immediately separated from anyone that we knew, whether it was a relative or a tribe's man or woman that our ancestors knew. We were immediately separated from them for stock, for cattle, to work on somebody else's land. And we were brought here because when white people tried to work this land, they got sick. And they figured out that our immune system was better than theirs. And they couldn't catch the natives to make them slaves. So when we got here, we were stripped of our language, our religion, our culture. And over 400 years, we were torn apart from our lineage. Slaves would establish families and would be ripped apart from them because they were stronger or they were female. And they would be sent off and sold to other plantations. We were told that we couldn't read, even though we had to learn that language to communicate. We were told that we couldn't worship a God that is not our God. And we had no idea who we were or where we came from. And over the years, when things like the Jim Crow effect came in, the Civil Rights Act or movement in the 60s, the systematic oppression of jobs and education, political status happened. The bombings of Philadelphia, the infiltration of the Black Panthers with COINTELPRO, we were ripped apart even more. And there was a time where we actually, after some time of being free, came together and started our own economic structure and started to be prosperous. And white people attacked those areas that were prosperous, killed everyone or almost everyone in that area, and destroyed the entire infrastructure. Black Wall Street in Oklahoma, if you're living in Sacramento, California, Oak Park, which used to be downtown Sacramento, and numerous other places around this country. And in most recent history, if you don't really know it and can't really see it, what has happened in Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. Everything about Mardi Gras has been stripped away from those black people. Everything. So the hurt and pain that we feel, that's been palpable for us for generations, is now boiling over. Sitting right here, right now, there's another black man or woman being pulled over and harassed for no reason. Being manhandled, assaulted, restrained, tased, shot because of a minor infraction. And the system saves them, saves the cops, I should say. And so now you're wondering why all of this is boiling over. So I'm going to go back to my original point. Nothing is going to change by conversation. We already know the bullet points of that conversation. We already know what needs to happen. We need action. Obviously, voting for somebody as president is not going to matter. Your vote doesn't matter when it comes to an electoral college. So you have to be able to vote on a local level to get people in Congress and in the Senate to be able to change laws. Because that's the only way for action to happen. We got to get rid of the electoral college so that your vote does count. And we got to vote for people on a local level and in our Senate and to our Congress that want that to happen so that the people's voice is truly, truly heard. There's no more being nice. No more of that shit. None. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm gonna live hard or I'm gonna die trying. I ain't got time for fucking being nice no more. I don't. If you can't treat me the way I treat you, I'm gonna treat you the way you treat me. White people, you gotta stand up, man. This shit fucking hurts, man. It hurts. If you have biracial children, if you're a white member of a black family, black boyfriend, black girlfriend, you need to stand the fuck up. Because when you walk outside and nothing's happening to you, you have no idea what's happening to those family members and those friends and those acquaintances that you align yourself with. If you my friend, you better be speaking the fuck up. Or you better get the fuck away from me. In every sense of the word. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, in person, neighborhood, 10 feet. Stay the fuck away from me. Don't talk to me. I don't hold grudges. Just stay the fuck away from me. Unless you're willing to speak up. Stop making excuses. Stop equivocating. Stop speaking around the subject. Speak up. Listen. Listen. Listen and understand what the fuck is going on. Speak directly to what's happening. Don't point at this corporation or that corporation or this big executive. Fuck all that bullshit. Point at yourself. Point at your fucking self. Now, I got family members that's white. I got family members that's biracial. Nephews that's biracial. I know where they stand. I do. I know where they stand. Some tough ass people, yo. For real. I got no problem with them. I know where they at. But if you are one of these people in one of those relationships and you not speaking up and you not standing up, your kids see you. Your family members see you. And I'm going to tell you right now, they may not be saying nothing to you, but they got a fucking problem. And it's going to come out one day. Perhaps sooner rather than later. So I'm going to close with this. If you can't take the time out of your life to understand where black people are coming from right now, stop dismissing it because it's not happening to you. Be respectful to black people and understand their hurt and their angst and why most morally good standing black people don't like to be disrespected. Don't want you thinking you could just say nigga because it's in a song or because somebody else posted it and you can post it, then you got a fucking problem. And you are the problem. I wish nobody any harm or anything except for what you deserve and what comes to you. I wish everybody bright moments and joy. This is only the beginning. This protest is just the start. It is the flame that will ignite the fire. Mark my words. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Bright moments of joy, everybody. One love.